Bobby Kotick is going absolutely mental. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the channel. So the Microsoft buyout of Activision-Blizzard has just been blocked by the UK regulator. Now, I'm going to explain what this means in this video. I'm also going to talk about the impacts this could have on Overwatch and maybe Activision-Blizzard as a whole. But what is quite ridiculous is this. This is the current share value or stock price of Activision-Blizzard. You can see it's gone down over 11% so far today. That is because the UK regulator actually announced this before the markets open today. So I'm pretty sure Bobby is going to be going mental, because this is the kind of thing you want to happen after the market closes. So, you know, PR responses can be made up and damage limitation can come in. In fact, no, this just dropped. Markets react, and yeah, Blizzard goes down 11.2%, or rather Activision-Blizzard. So what the hell has happened? Well, let me explain. So this is from the BBC, who've got an excellent breakdown of the situation. Microsoft's $68.7 billion deal to buy Activision-Blizzard has been blocked by the UK Competition and Markets Authority, known as the CMA. The proposed takeover would see Microsoft acquire such hit titles as Call of Duty and Candy Crush, but the regulator said it was concerned the deal would offer reduced innovation and less choice for gamers in the fast-growing cloud gaming business. Microsoft and Activision hit out at the decision and said they would appeal. The CMA's report contradicts the ambitions of the UK to become an attractive country to build technology businesses, a spokesperson for Activision said. Now, what is absolutely mental about all of this stuff is I think the UK could possibly be the second biggest single country market for Activision-Blizzard now, considering the way they messed up the China deal, so none of the games are available in China, which of course was the second biggest market, I believe, after the US. So this is a devastating blow if the UK say, no, we don't want this deal, and we're not going to basically let you sell your games in our country. Because think of it this way. Activision own Call of Duty. Call of Duty is the biggest game in the country, in this country. I'm in the UK, obviously. It's massive. FIFA maybe gives it a run for its money, but those two are the games everybody plays. They are absolutely ginormous. Overwatch is also a big game in the UK as well, especially on consoles and on PC as well. But these are massive games, and of course Candy Crush as well, which is a huge game. Now, the issue the CMA has got is with cloud gaming. It's not with games consoles. It's not with any of that. It's about cloud gaming. Because when you look at Games Pass, that Xbox offer, obviously, and that's owned by Microsoft, what they would do is lock down the games onto their platform, so you could only play them on that platform. They're already doing this with Bethesda games. The next Elder Scrolls game, it's exclusive to Microsoft, basically. So you can play it on PC and you can play it on Xbox consoles. That's it. You can't play it on PlayStation. You can't play it on Nintendo or anything like that. This is what's going to happen with all of the Activision-Blizzard games ultimately, and that's why CMA has just basically said, no, we don't think this is good for competition, because putting the biggest games all onto one sort of platform is just going to stifle the market, because these games are so massive. So Activision also go on to say, we will work aggressively with Microsoft to reverse this on appeal. The report's conclusions are a disservice to the UK's citizens who face increasingly dire economic prospects. We will reassess our growth plans for the UK. Global innovators, large and small, will take note that, despite all of its rhetoric, the UK is clearly closed for business. I mean, they're pretty, they're savage words there from Activision, because they obviously want this deal to go through, and it's probably quite annoying to them that the little UK has gone, we don't want this, and it suddenly threw a massive spanner in their works, or I guess I should say wrench. Anyway, they go on to say, so Microsoft also come in, and Brad Smith, the vice chairman and president of Microsoft, said the company was still committed to the acquisition. The CMA's decision rejects a pragmatic path to address competition concerns and discourages technology innovation and investment in the United Kingdom. Microsoft has already signed contracts to make Activision Blizzard's games available on 150 million more devices, he added. We're especially disappointed that after lengthy deliberations, this decision appears to reflect a flawed understanding of the market and the way relevant cloud technology actually works. So there's three big regulators here that have to approve this deal, because you've got to remember, guys, this is one of the biggest takeover deals in history. It's massive. The UK, obviously, the CMA have just said no to it, but then you've got the European Union, and we don't know what they're going to say, and then we've got the US as well. Those are the big players. Now, if the European Union follow the UK and say, no, we're not going, I think the deal's done. I mean, it's absolutely done there. Now, obviously, they're going to try and get the decision removed by the CMA, and maybe that's possible. But if the US market regulators say no, then it's basically all over anyway, because I mean, the US market is so massive, it just dwarfs everything else. So what did the CMA say about this? Well, a guy called Martin Coleman, who chaired an independent panel that investigated the proposal for the regulator, said it was vital to protect competition in the emerging and exciting market of cloud gaming. Microsoft already enjoys a powerful position and head start over other competitors in cloud gaming, and this deal would strengthen that advantage, giving it the ability to undermine new and innovative competitors. He said that Microsoft had submitted plans to address the CMA's concerns, but they were not effective and would have replaced competition with ineffective regulation. Cloud gaming needs a free competitive market to drive innovation and choice. That is best achieved by allowing the current competitive dynamics in cloud gaming to continue to do their job. So what is the timeline of all of this? Let me give you guys a breakdown here. Again, this is from the BBC. This is an excellent article, but this is awesome. It breaks everything down, and I'll just go through this so we can get a good idea of what's going on. So Microsoft is ramping up its video game section and wants to buy Activision-Blizzard, the team that makes Call of Duty, Overwatch, and all the games that we know. But some governments are worried about it. If you're new to this long-running saga, here's what you need to know. Microsoft wants to pay $69 billion for Activision. Even for Microsoft, one of the richest companies in the world, such a huge deal has never been seen before. If it's allowed to make the purchase, it will be the biggest takeover of one company by another in the history of gaming. It'll get a lot for its money, including control of Call of Duty. It's a lot of cash, but it would make Microsoft the owners of Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, Overwatch, and Candy Crush, to name a few. Those are some of the world's most popular video games, with millions of players who spend billions on subscriptions and in-game purchases. And I'm just added this bit, such as awesome souvenirs from Overwatch. They didn't say that. I made that up. Microsoft says it needs the deal to boost the Xbox. Sony's PlayStation has been outselling Microsoft Xbox consoles for some time now. Microsoft says buying Activision would let it put more big titles on Game Pass, its Netflix-style subscription, and make more games for mobile phones where there are big profits to be made. But Sony's not happy with the idea. Sony is worried that Microsoft could stop some big games from being on PlayStation. The latest installment of the Call of Duty series, Modern Warfare 2, made $1 billion in its release weekend, and more than half of all copies sold in the UK were for PlayStation. Governments are worried it will give Microsoft too much power. The American government is taking Microsoft to court to stop the deal. It's worried Microsoft wants to make it more expensive, harder, or even impossible to play some games on consoles from other companies. Authorities in Britain have already blocked the deal, but Microsoft says it will appeal. It's also been opposed in Canada. If all three countries aren't convinced about Microsoft plans, it will have to change them or drop them. Microsoft says it doesn't want to hurt anyone. Microsoft argues it would be stupid for it to suddenly stop selling hugely successful game series to millions of potential customers. It's announced the deal for Call of Duty games to appear on Nintendo machines if the deal goes through, and says it's made the same offer to Sony. But I will just add a little bit of my own sort of ad-lib to that. Yeah, we know. They've been saying this for a while. Phil Spencer's been saying this. Oh, yeah, they will be available. But the thing is, it's for how long? Even if they go, oh, it'll be 3 years, you'll get the Call of Duty. But after those years are up, and then suddenly not having the biggest games in the world available on other platforms is going to be a problem. As apparently I'm losing my voice. This is such an emotional topic. But it has already said it will make other games exclusive. In 2020, Microsoft forked out $7.5 billion for Bethesda, the makers of huge games Fallout and Skyrim. It's since said that some of the company's future games will be Xbox exclusives, and that's made some worry it'll do the same with Activision. And this is the problem, guys. I think they absolutely will, but it's just in the future if they get the deal over the line. So how does this affect Overwatch? This is the game we all love, the game we all play if you guys are watching this channel. And the game which is, it's been my job for like 7 years. It's getting out for ages how long I've been covering this game. I don't think if the deal falls through, it will be... Wow, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I don't think it will be too bad for Overwatch because its current direction will not change. All of the stuff that we're playing right now in Overwatch 2 is a implementation from Activision-Blizzard. This will not change. If Microsoft suddenly bought the company today, that would also not change. It depends on how much money it's generating. If it's generating a lot of money, then I don't think Microsoft would change anything. I think what's more interesting to me is Overwatch League. That could be something Microsoft look at changing. Now, Microsoft have got a little bit of a history of, they do let companies carry on how they have been when they take them over, but they do like to make little changes here and there. They probably would review budgets, would review spend. Maybe they might look at things like Overwatch League and the direction it's going in. Maybe they look at tweaking that and changing it. You know, I'd all be for just going back to basics. Just let the scene grow again organically. Obviously, that would be very difficult for everyone involved in Overwatch League, and there'd have to be some sort of finesse involved with the transition period there. But I think it's doable. You see, the thing that gets me, guys, is everyone likes to come out and say Overwatch is a dead game. I get millions of views on this game still. When the game launched in October, I got 28 million views in a month on YouTube. That's an absolute record for me. That's ridiculous. I regularly upload videos that go over 100,000 views. It's crazy, right? 300,000 views is just normal now on a video. That's mental. There is a massive appetite for this game. So if they can crack the Overwatch League dilemma, it could be awesome. But yeah, I think in terms of what it means for Overwatch, if the deal falls through, I'm not really sure it's going to mean too much in the short term because we're already set on a path. Now, there are things that Activision-Blizzard have done which are not great. Now, I'm not sure what Microsoft's take would be on these kind of things, but things like the removal of work from home has caused a lot of extremely talented people to leave Blizzard. I'm not going to name them. I've spoken to most of them, and I'm sad they've left the company because I've met a lot of these people in real life, and they are incredible at their job. They've gone. They've often gone to other companies, other big game companies. Again, I won't name the companies, but yeah, it's a problem, and that will probably continue. And also, Activision-Blizzard have been notorious for underpaying staff, where staff can just walk up the road and get a job at Riot and get paid 20 or 30% more, which is a bit ridiculous. All right, guys, so hopefully that covers the situation there. At the moment, it looks like this deal is starting to fail. The UK regulator, maybe it'll change its mind. We'll have to wait and see what happens there. But if the EU come out and say no, then there's going to be a massive problem. And because the EU as a market is going to easily be the second biggest market after the US. And then, yeah, if the US say no, then the deal's dead. Ooh. All right, guys, thank you for listening and watching the video. I hope this has been informative. And I will catch you lovely lot on the next one as I'm losing my voice. I don't know what's happened to my voice. What's going on?